I hope that parts don't come out of this thing. It's never had an oil change. It's a fairly new car. It's never had an oil change. I'm assuming it had synthetic oil. Oh boy, it's dark.
There's one thing most car owners think they've mastered, and that's the good old oil change. But here's the truth that might surprise you. What seems like a basic task can quietly destroy your engine if you mess it up even a little. That's right. Some of the most common oil change mistakes are not only wrecking your car's performance, but they're also slowly draining your wallet. In this video, we're exposing the stupid oil change mistakes that too many people make, whether they're weekend DIYers or even so-called professionals at your local garage. These slip-ups may seem harmless at first, but over time, they cause real damage and, in some cases, irreversible engine failure. From using the wrong type of oil to forgetting a tiny rubber ring that could send your engine into a meltdown, we're breaking it all down in detail. So, before you grab that wrench or drive into a shop that doesn't know your car, make sure you know the risks. Let's get into the mistakes that are killing your engine. It's shocking how many car owners can't remember the last time they changed their oil. This might seem like a small detail, but forgetting this one task can set your engine on a slow path to destruction. Oil is the lifeblood of your engine, and if you don't know when it was last changed, how can you expect it to keep everything running smoothly? Many people wrongly assume oil changes are only about mileage. But that's not the full story. Oil degrades over time, not just with distance. Even if your car stays parked most days, the oil inside is still aging. Moisture, oxidation, and contaminants start breaking it down. That's why most automakers recommend changing your oil every 5,000 to 7,500 miles or every 6 months, whichever comes first. Skip those intervals and you'll notice the consequences. The oil loses viscosity and turns into a thick sludge that can't lubricate your engine properly. Your components start grinding, heat builds up, and before long, that neglected oil change leads to serious engine damage. And this damage isn't just inconvenient, it's expensive. Some drivers swing to the opposite extreme and change oil too frequently. If you're using synthetic oil, changing it too soon is just throwing money down the drain. Today's high-quality synthetics are designed to last longer, and replacing them early doesn't add value. It just adds to your expenses and wastes perfectly good oil. Another thing to avoid is relying entirely on that little sticker your shop places on the windscreen. As helpful as they might seem, those reminders are sometimes inaccurate or completely outdated. Garages can forget to update them or use generic estimates. Instead, take matters into your own hands. Use your car's trip meter and reset it after every oil change. Set a reminder on your phone or jot it down in your glove compartment. Better yet, keep a small maintenance logbook in the glove box and write down the mileage and date of every oil change. It's a small effort that can save you thousands of rupees or dollars in future engine repairs. Taking control of this one habit can extend your engine's lifespan and keep it performing like new. Oil is not one size fits all. Using the wrong type or viscosity can seriously harm your engine, even if you think you're doing everything else right. This isn't a matter of preference. It's about precision and performance. Viscosity refers to the thickness of the oil, and it's more important than people realize. Thinner oil flows better in cold temperatures, while thicker oil provides more protection in hot conditions. If you're using thick oil in freezing weather, your engine might struggle to start. The oil might not circulate fast enough, and parts won't be lubricated properly. This causes excess friction and wear every time you fire up the engine. On the flip side, using oil that's too thin in hot weather or under heavy loads means your engine isn't getting enough cushioning between moving parts. That leads to overheating, metal-on-metal contact, and ultimately, failure. Not exactly the kind of drama you want under the hood. Then there's the debate between synthetic and conventional oil. Modern engines are increasingly designed to run on synthetic, thanks to its superior temperature resistance and longevity. But if your car is older, synthetic might do more harm than good. Why? Because it cleans too well. An older engine might have deposits that have built up over time. Synthetic oil can break that down quickly, which sounds good, but those deposits might have been sealing tiny leaks or preventing odd noises. Clean them out suddenly, and now your engine's leaking or knocking. That's why it's essential to follow your car manufacturer's recommendations. The owner's manual exists for a reason. It gives you the exact viscosity and oil type your engine needs to perform at its best. Don't try to outsmart the engineers who built your car, and never rely solely on guesswork or advice from that one guy in your neighborhood who swears by 20W50 for everything. Every car is different. If you're unsure, talk to a certified mechanic who knows your vehicle's make and model. Choosing the right oil might seem like a boring detail, but it's a critical one. Get it wrong, and you'll be paying the price in repair bills and reduced engine life. Get it right, and your engine will thank you with smoother, longer-lasting performance. Changing your oil without changing the oil filter is like washing your hands with dirty water. Sure, you went through the motions, but you've missed the whole point. Your oil filter is responsible for catching all the dirt, grime, and microscopic metal particles that your oil collects as it circulates through the engine. Leaving an old filter in place means you're simply mixing your fresh, clean oil with all the junk trapped in that filthy filter. That junk ends up back in your engine, and now your clean oil is contaminated right from the start. This mistake is surprisingly common. Some DIYers think they can save time or a few bucks by skipping the filter replacement. But what they're really doing is allowing premature engine wear, clogged oil passages, and reduced performance to creep in. A dirty or failing oil filter will no longer trap contaminants effectively, which means your engine will have to deal with that mess on its own. And engines don't like running with oil that's full of metal shavings and sludge. But here's where it gets worse. Some people who remember to change the filter still mess it up by choosing the wrong one. Just because a filter fits on the threads doesn't mean it's the right match. An incorrectly sized filter can cause a whole range of issues. It might not seal properly, leading to oil leaks. It might not filter at the correct pressure or flow rate, making it useless. In worst-case scenarios, the filter can actually blow off while you're driving, spraying oil all over your engine bay and leaving your motor to run dry. That kind of failure can destroy an engine in minutes. When installing a new oil filter, technique matters too. Most oil filters should be hand-tightened until they make contact with the sealing surface, then tightened an extra quarter turn with an oil filter wrench. That small detail makes all the difference. If it's too loose, you risk leaks. If it's too tight, you can crush the gasket or damage the threads, both of which will ruin the seal. People also forget that over-tightening can make the next oil change a nightmare. Stripping the threads or fusing the filter in place with excessive torque guarantees frustration down the line. So don't treat the filter like a lug nut. Respect the process and get it snug, not brutal. Let's talk about the tiny hero that makes or breaks your oil change: the O-ring. This small rubber ring might not seem like much, but it plays a massive role in keeping your oil where it belongs. Its job is to create a tight seal between the oil filter and the engine. If that seal fails, oil escapes, and your engine starts crying for help. First, never reuse the old O-ring. When you remove the old filter, always check to make sure the O-ring came off with it. If it stays stuck to the engine, and you screw on a new filter with another O-ring already in place, You've now got two O-rings stacked on top of each other. This is a disaster waiting to happen. That double gasket creates an uneven seal, and the first time you start the engine, oil can gush out instantly. We're talking about a full-blown geyser under your hood, spraying oil all over and possibly draining your sump before you even make it to the end of the street. Even if you get the O-ring situation right, there's still one crucial step that many overlook: lubricating the new O-ring. A dry O-ring can catch or twist when the filter is being tightened, leading to a poor seal or even tearing the ring entirely. Once compromised, that O-ring can't do its job, and the leak starts slowly or rapidly depending on how much pressure the oil is under. So here's the checklist. Every time you change your oil filter, confirm the old O-ring is gone, and lightly coat the new O-ring with fresh oil, seat it correctly, and then tighten the filter properly. Skipping any of these steps can turn a simple oil change into an engine-killing mistake. It's the little things like this that separate a clean, smooth-running engine from one that's on a fast track to failure. Take the time to do it right, and your car will reward you with miles of trouble-free driving. Cut corners, and you'll be paying the price sooner than you think. Getting your oil level right is not just a suggestion. It's a rule that your engine lives and dies by. Some people think a little more oil can only help. Others think being slightly low won't hurt. Both are wrong, and both mistakes can slowly destroy your engine without you even realizing it. Let's start with underfilling. When you don't add enough oil, your engine lacks the lubrication it needs to function smoothly. Metal parts begin to scrape against each other. There's more friction, more heat, and more wear with every mile. The most vulnerable moment is during startup, when oil hasn't yet circulated. If there's not enough oil to begin with, the engine starts up dry, and those first few seconds are brutal. Repeat this a few times, and you're heading toward a blown engine, or at the very least, costly internal damage. Now, let's talk about overfilling. It might seem like a minor issue, especially when people say things like extra protection or a little more won't hurt. But pouring in too much oil is actually a silent killer. When the oil level is too high, the crankshaft can dip into the oil and whip it into a frothy mess. That foam is filled with air bubbles, and air does not lubricate. That means your engine components are running with patchy oil coverage at best. What follows are pressure spikes that your engine simply wasn't built to handle. This pressure can blow out seals and gaskets and create oil leaks in places that were perfectly fine before. Sometimes, you'll see a check engine light. Other times, you might not see any symptoms until something fails catastrophically. Even worse, overfilled oil can find its way into the exhaust system and reach the catalytic converter. The result? Oil burns inside the exhaust, damaging the converter and leading to emissions problems or failure to pass an inspection. And replacing a catalytic converter is not cheap. The fix? Always check your owner's manual for the correct oil capacity. It tells you how much oil the engine needs with a filter change and without. Once you've filled it, wait a few minutes and then use the dipstick to confirm the level. If you're in the safe zone, you're good to go. If not, top up carefully. Do not guess or eyeball it. Your engine isn't the place to play trial and error. Stick to the specs, and you'll avoid a long list of headaches. So you've popped the drain plug and watched the oil start to pour out. Looks good, right? But here's where a lot of people go wrong. They get impatient. They see most of the oil has drained and figure it's close enough. Then they tighten the plug and move on to the refill. Big mistake. That leftover oil, even if it's just a small amount, is carrying all the grime, carbon, and microscopic metal particles from your engine's internals. When you add fresh oil on top of that, you've just contaminated the new oil immediately. The result? Your clean oil is already less effective from the moment you start the engine. To do it properly, let the oil drain for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure the car has been driven a few minutes before the oil change to warm up the oil so it flows easier. Warmer oil drains faster and carries more of the gunk with it. But even warm oil needs time. Gravity doesn't rush. Also, make sure your car is parked on level ground. If the car is tilted to one side, some oil can get trapped in low spots inside the oil pan, never fully draining. That means more contamination, inaccurate oil level readings, and more risk down the road. And there's one more detail that often gets skipped: the crush washer on the drain bolt. This small ring helps form a tight seal between the bolt and the oil pan. When you reuse the old one, it might seem fine at first, but over time it can allow oil to seep through. That leads to slow leaks, greasy undercarriages, and eventually lower oil levels that put your engine at risk again. So don't cut corners. Let the oil fully drain, replace the crush washer, and make sure everything is clean before sealing the bolt back in. These small steps make a huge difference in how long your engine lasts and how well it performs. Take your time here, and your engine will thank you every mile you drive. Once the oil is changed and you've sealed everything up, you're not done yet. Start your engine and let it idle for a couple of minutes. While it's running, check underneath the car. Any fresh drops of oil? That's a problem. Look around the oil filter, the drain plug, and even near the oil pan. Leaks might not gush at first. They start small, then build up into a nightmare. Also, listen, is the engine running smoothly? Any ticking or knocking sounds? That could mean your oil level is low or the filter isn't doing its job. Don't ignore these signs. Lastly, after turning off the engine, wait a few minutes and recheck the dipstick. The oil should be at the full mark, not below and definitely not above. This 5-minute checkup could save you thousands in engine repairs. Most modern cars have an oil life monitor or an oil change light, and yet many drivers treat it like a Christmas decoration and ignore it until it's blinking furiously. Don't be that person. These systems are based on complex algorithms that calculate oil life based on temperature, driving conditions, mileage, and more. When the light comes on, it's not just a guess. It's a sign your oil is losing its protective abilities. Resetting the oil life monitor without actually changing the oil is just lying to yourself and your engine. You wouldn't tell your doctor you're healthy when you haven't taken your meds, right? Pay attention to that light, respect it, and follow up with actual maintenance. Just because you go to a mechanic or quick lube joint doesn't mean they'll get it perfect. Many of these places work fast, not carefully. That means skipped steps, over-torqued filters, wrong oil types, and forgotten O-rings. Always double-check the receipt and ask what oil was used, how much, and whether the filter was replaced. Some garages reuse old filters or use low-grade oil unless you specify otherwise. When in doubt, bring your own oil and filter. It's not paranoid, it's smart, because no one cares about your engine like you do. So, there you have it. These oil change mistakes may seem small, but over time, they add up and could cost you thousands in engine repairs or even a total replacement. Whether you're doing it yourself or trusting a garage, knowing what to look out for can mean the difference between a smooth ride and a total disaster under the hood. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below with your worst oil change experience, and don't forget to subscribe for more car care tips and mechanical truths that actually save you money. Your engine deserves better. And now, you know how to give it exactly that. Thanks for watching.